Hey everybody, this is Colin with Worthy Brand Consulting, and I'm going to do my best to be valuable to you today. Okay, kind of looking at myself, I could use a beard trim and a haircut, so hopefully I'll do that soon. But kind of what I want to talk about today is this big fancy term called automation. Okay, so for some of you, automation's like kind of this far out term that you kind of understand what it means, but it also seems like it's going to be really expensive to set up. You need some sort of like engineering graduate from some really prestigious school to help you do. And it may seem kind of, out of reach, but the truth is automating your business, or at least automating a good percentage of your business, really isn't that difficult. And I'll kind of show you what I mean by that. So let's talk about automation a little bit. So for a lot of you, you're running, either an online business, perhaps a service-based business with, brick and mortar locations. It sort of doesn't really matter too much. But for most of you, there's some sort of entry part into your business, meaning either somebody walks into your store, they browse around, they look around, or if it's a website, somebody checks out your website, maybe they look at your products if you're selling e-commerce stuff. Or if you're a service-based business, like let's say you're a roofing company, you have like an inquiry form to fill out, right? So kind of no matter what happens in your business, there's an entry point, right, to your business. So and the beauty is you can kind of map it out, right? As a business owner, you kind of sit down, and this is the tough part, being quiet, not having, 10,000 things swarming around your head, but just sitting down thinking about what is the process of somebody that's never heard of us to then becoming a customer? Like what's all the stuff that happens in between, right? So for most of you, it's sort of this unconscious thing that you kind of know how your process works, but you've maybe never really thought about it, right? So let's say, for instance, you run a roofing business, okay, or a laser hair removal clinic, okay, whatever the case is, you can sit down, right? So I'm actually using, it's called Lucid Chart. I think it's free, right? You notice I got my little free trial going on here. So, but what you could do is literally sit down, right? And you just sit down, and I'm going to create a real basic process, and I'm going to show you how you can automate this, right? So I'm going to give you the actual tangible. So just hang in there with me. So let's say, for instance, you sit down and you're like, you know what? Most of our business comes from people searching us on Google. Maybe you're running Google ads, or you have an agency running Google ads for you, and they check out the website and they fill out a form. Okay. So let's say website. Okay. So that's going to be our starting point, is our website. And then we're going to say, what happens next? Okay. We're going to say new lead, form filled out. Okay. So this is kind of the first step of your process. New lead form is filled out. Then what happens next generally? Does the person then schedule a time? Is there like an online booking calendar perhaps? Maybe for a lot of you, they just fill out a form and then like your front desk staff gets to them eventually, right? Which it's better than nothing, but probably could have a better process than that. So let's say new lead fills out the form, and then let's say front desk makes call, sends email. Okay. So let's say that's the case. Boom. Then what happens next? Well, let's say after that, oops. And again, just you could totally follow the same process for your business. Map the thing out, right? And you're going to notice for some of you, there's different entry points into your business. So let's say we're just using the roofing business as an example. Maybe you have a team of door knockers, right? They're out there knocking on doors, setting appointments. That's one point of entry, right? These guys are setting the appointment on knocking on the doors. Maybe you're running Google ads. Again, folks are filling out forms that way. Maybe you have a team of cold callers. They're hitting the phones and they're calling up homeowners about their roofs. Maybe a storm just rolled through town. That's another point of entry. So with your business, the beauty is you could set up all these different sequences with the different points of entry. I'll keep it pretty simple. We don't need to get into all that stuff. But again, we'll just keep it. Hey, you got a website. Someone fills out a form. What happens next? Okay, front desk makes a phone call, sends an email. Cool. What happens next? Let's say the client responds either yes or no, that they're interested in chatting more. We can get into the details, but we'll just keep it pretty simple. So let's say schedules an in-person meeting. Okay, cool. Then what? Let's assume that lead shows up. Let's say, again, let's just use laser hair as an example. Laser hair removal. Schedules an in-person meeting. Then what? Then, oops. Pays and books for, 12-month package. Okay. Boom. Then what happens next? Maybe this is when, maybe you send them an invoice electronically or they pay in person. It can go either way, really, whatever you do. And let's just say, reminders. Maybe you send reminders before their sessions. Okay, something like that. So now, you've kind of mapped out your normal process. Let's say this is a normal process for you, right? Choose this little dot, boom. So we're all fancy here with our little boxes. Okay, kind of simple. For most of you, you're going to have much more pieces to your automation. And the beauty is too, you could just start with this, right? So if you don't have any automation set up, keep it simple, right? Kind of walk through your normal process of what you think is a normal process and map the thing out. And the beauty is, over time, you're going to be like, you know what, we could also do after the lead fills out a form. What if we, updated a spreadsheet automatically? What if we sent an email to our sales team right away to go to schedule a call with this lead? What if we automated sending a text message to the lead instead of our front desk staff making a call, the next day? What if we just automatically send out a text to this lead, right? And you could add these additional pieces to your automation. Okay. So let's stick with this. I'm going to show you as an example. Like, what do we do now? Okay, we've mapped it out. Do we go hire like some sort of fancy person to go and use all different kinds of code to build this out for us, right? Maybe. I don't know much about that, but or you can kind of go a simple route. And there's an actual software. Okay, it's called Zapier or Zapier. Okay, Zapier.com, and you can create a free account. Okay, there is a sort of a payment plan as well. I think if you create a bunch of automation, we're on the paid plan. I don't think it's very expensive, but you can totally create a free account. But what Zapier does, Zapier is kind of like the super glue or duct tape that pieces all your different softwares together, right? So let's say you have your website, okay, whether it's Squarespace, maybe use ClickFunnels or something like that, and you have your different email softwares like ActiveCampaign or even Gmail. Let's say you have a phone calling software like RingCentral or TextMagic. Zapier is going to be able to actually connect all of those different softwares together. So when one thing happens, Zapier can create a sequence of different of other events, right? Which is automation, right? It's really cool. And it's actually, I sort of call it like playing with adult Legos, right? Because it's very basic. You're using the building blocks, which, right, we created our little building block pieces, our little Lego pieces right here, right? You can look at the parts of your business, the parts of your actual process as like Lego pieces, right? First Lego piece is the website. Then the next Lego piece is a form being filled out. And this action's another Lego piece, right? And you're just building this little Lego tower, really. It's very, kind of look at it that way to keep it simple. And then Zapier's what the software you use just to stack one Lego block on another, right? And let me show you what I mean by that. So let's just say create a free account, right? It's not going to cost you anything. You're going to create what they call a Zap. A Zap is like an automation, right? That's just the term they use. So let's just use this as an example. I'm going to show you how simple this stuff is. Okay. And again, hopefully this is valuable to you. Some of you may already be familiar with how to set up automation, but for others of you, you're like, whoa, this is pretty cool. I don't have to manually send an email to my team to schedule a call with somebody, or I don't have to manually update spreadsheets. That's cool, right? And it is. So first thing you're gonna do is just name your Zap, whatever you want, just for you to remember. So you could just put your business name there and then describe the automation, right? So let's say this is the website, the roofing website automation flow. Okay, whatever, you can call it that. Just so you know, when you're going through your archives, let's say if you need to update an automation sequence and add some stuff in there, you can just go in Zapier and look by the description, right? So let's say whatever. Or what did I say? Laser hair removal? Something like that. Laser hair removal website, whatever. Automation flow, whatever. And you can, again, just something for you to remember. Okay. So again, if you're like, what, let's start putting pieces of, automating a text message being sent to the lead and automating an email being sent to the lead. You could totally do that. Okay. You could just literally just search by the title. Okay. So what's our starting process, right? Well, our starting process, there has to be a trigger, right? And a trigger is the thing that starts the Zap, right? This is the entry point into the business. So the trigger in this case is somebody fills out a lead form, right? That is going to be on your website. That's the trigger that starts this whole automation. Now, you could also have triggers for automating the invoicing process. So let's say part of after your sales team, let's say you're closing people over the phone. Let's say part of the process is your sales team, once they're done talking with them, they send the invoice, and then the sales team follows up, sends the message, sends a text, hey, we just sent you over the invoice, sends them an email, hey, we sent you over the invoice, make sure to fill it out, contract, whatever. And then there's additional steps once the invoice is paid. Maybe you send them manually a text that says, hey, just letting you know we got your invoice. The beauty is you can automate that stuff, right? The entry point for that automation would be invoice has been sent. You can automate all the steps that happen after that, right? Anyway, so that's what a trigger is. So let's say for us, our trigger is somebody fills out a form on our ClickFunnels page, okay? So you can search for ClickFunnels if you're using that. Let's say you are using, I don't know, Squarespace. You could search Squarespace, right? So the beauty of Zapier is they have access to like pretty much most softwares you could ever think of. I don't know, what, WordPress, maybe that's another one, right? WordPress, boom, okay, so whatever. So let's say for us, in our case, we want to start our automation when somebody fills out a little form on our ClickFunnels page, okay? The next thing you're going to do is you're going to say, hey, what's the event trigger, okay? So you could say, hey, I want to start this automation when somebody fills out the contact form. I want to set up the automation when somebody makes a purchase, right? Whatever it is. Or when somebody tries to make a purchase and it fails, right? You can make all these different sequences, whatever you like. So in this case, I'm going to say, hey, I want to start the process when somebody fills out a form, okay? Boom. So then we're going to continue. Now, one of the things is when you first start your account with Zapier, you're going to have to log into your softwares, right? So if you haven't ever logged in to any of these software, this is where you're going to do that, okay? So let me go to choose whatever account, okay? So I'm going to do that. And we're just going to continue, right? So boom. So there we go. So now what Zapier is going to do is it's actually going to go out and try and find a previous contact, right? To make sure it works well. It's also going to ask, hey, which funnel, since we're using ClickFunnels, we have different web pages. You need to make sure to choose whichever one you want. I'm just going to choose a random one. And then it's going to say, hey, what part of the funnel or website do you want us to pull information from? So like what form do you want us to use, right? So choose our little onboarding form, okay? And then it's actually going to go out and it's going to test to make sure, since you've given Zapier the ability to go check for you, you're going to test, right? So we are going to send a test through to make sure we can pull contact information. So for every other person that fills out a form, we've now created, this is the super glue, this is the duct tape, we're now connecting Zapier with ClickFunnels, right? So we're creating a connection point there where we can actively pull that information and do something with it, right? Boom. So here we go. Your contact was found. I'm going to totally zoom past that. That's client info. So we don't necessarily want to have that hanging out there. All right, cool. So we got that piece. So we've connected, we're now successfully connected to our website. So every time a lead comes in, we're able to access that information automatically. So let's go back to our little Lego set here. So what happens next, right? So we have our website, lead fills out the form. Okay, we've already captured that information. Okay, the next step is the front desk staff makes a phone call and sends an email. Well, how's our front desk staff going to know how's our front desk staff going to know to make a call and send an email to this lead? Well, we can tell them automatically, right? So we don't have to sit at our computer and say, hey, I need to always be checking, see how many leads we got today so I can tell Judy, our front desk lady, to make a phone call. You don't need to do that, right? We're going to use automation. So let's say we want to send a Gmail. We want to send an actual email to Judy saying, hey, Judy, we just got a new lead. Can you get on the phone with her? Well, let's search for Gmail. Okay, boom. There we go. There's Gmail right there. So again, same thing. What's the event that we want to have happen? We want to send an email. Okay. Easy peasy. Hit the continue button, right? And again, if you haven't connected your account, this is where you'll do it. We are going to choose a random email. I don't check this email. So if you try to send me an email here, I'm totally not going to see it. Okay. Maybe about a year later, if I decide to check it. So that's that. If you see my email. Okay. And so now we're going to say, who do we want to send an email to? Well, let's say we want to send it to Judy at frontdeskstaff.com. Okay. And we're going to say, if you want to CC somebody, so if you have like a sales team or like a sales manager that you want to also put on like carbon copy. So you could say sales manager at whatever team.com. So if you want to CC anybody. If you want to blind carbon copy somebody, you can BCC. So whatever you want to do, just like a normal email, it's just being done for you, okay? So the from email is going to be from your email, right? Since you're sending an email to Judy to say, hey, we got a new lead, give her a call. The from name could be your name, right? Whatever you want to do here. The subject line, if you want to do like a separate reply address, like if Judy's going to reply back to you like I got it, and you want that to go to a different email, you can do that, whatever you want. Subject line will be like, hey, new lead, give them a call. Okay. Whatever you want to do there. Okay. So that way, every time a new lead comes in, right, from ClickFunnels or from your website or from whatever entry point of your business, Judy's going to immediately get an email right away. And the subject line, she'll see it's going to say, hey, new lead, give them a call. Okay. Whatever your process is. You could be like, hey, Judy, just a heads up. We just got a brand new lead from our website. Make sure to reach out and give them a call and send them an email ASAP. Okay. Here is the information for the lead. Okay. So now not only can we send Judy an email, we can pull the data that Zapier has already found and just plug it in there. Name, right? So we just click, I'll show you. If you just click anywhere in the email, it's going to pull up step 1 that we've already found, right? So just please disregard this information. This is actually my wife's photography business. We don't want to be reaching out to these folks, but just showing you what we could do here. You drop the phone number that it's already found, right? Boom, email. There we go. All right. And there we go. So now Judy's going to get an email with the lead's information every single time you get a lead. Pretty cool, right? So that's that. I'm not going to spend so much more time here, but you kind of get the concept, right? Like this is, you're essentially duplicating yourself, or you're duplicating what an employee would have done for you, which is all this work, right? So on and so forth. You can continue down the process, right? The process I created here doesn't require a whole lot of automation besides emailing Judy. After Judy talks to the person, she'll schedule an in-person meeting, but you can create an automation for the in-person meeting, right? Let's say Judy talks to the person and they're like, yeah, I'd love to come in and kind of talk about laser hair removal. Great. Judy's like, cool, what day and time works for you? So she books that person on the calendar. You could set up automation that sends reminders to the client. Hey, we just confirmed your appointment this day and this time. You could send it as a text. You could send it as an email to that client. You can also send reminders. Hey, just a reminder for your appointment coming up. Like all of this can be done for you, right? So you don't need to have somebody like checking the calendar, sending reminders to people. It can be completely automated, right? And again, including the invoicing, everything. So I hope this helps you. I really do hope it was valuable to you. Hopefully I didn't waste your time. I just wanted to try to provide legitimate value to you, something that you can use to help you in your business. So that's it. That's all I got for you. Of course, if there's any way we can help you in your business, feel free to reach out. If not, that's cool. Totally just use what I'm giving you here, and hopefully it blesses you in your business. And I will see you on another video.